Greetings, everyone. Hawksblood here, calling from the Big Island of Hawaii. I don't know how your day is going. Mine's going okay. I just woke up, so it's all right so far. But the past couple of days have been super crazy. I don't know. When 10 things go wrong when you try to do something, and it was all because I wanted to go down to the ocean and film the sky, everything possibly could go wrong within a half hour. So it never happened. I mean, I spent 2 hours trying to get down there. I finally got down there, and it didn't work. But I never went out during the day trying to film over the ocean for UFOs and stuff. But I figured I'd try, and everything backfired. But greetings, everybody. I'm going to put Tina to say hi. Greetings, Tina.
Hi, Tommy. Hi, everybody. I'm Tina Brown here in Southampton in the UK. I'm ET Girl, and you can find me on all social media platforms. And we're on Counters tonight. And if you have any questions, like Tommy said, and please come on the show. Feel free to ask them. Please be nice. So yeah, anything that you have or an update or a question from a previous show, please let me and Tommy know if you'd like to come on the show, or you do have a question, then we're quite happy to answer that for you. But hello to Hawaii, everyone in the US, and I think we've had some listeners from Sweden lately as well. So hello to everybody in our sister Nordic countries from here. And so hello and good evening, Tommy.
All right, people. There's a lot going on. I wish people would call in with questions. I will answer any questions pertaining to the subject that I can answer or that Tina can answer. But I'm not talking from ego, people. And I know people say, well, it's his ego. I have a lot more information than 99% of the UFO people out there. I've been in it all my life. I've been involved with the top people in the UFO world. I was next to an alien, next to a ship, and all that. So my information's not like, oh, Joe Schmo said this. Oh, Joe Schmo said that. And Tina's all her personal experience as well. So if you want the truth, you're going to hear a lot of it here. We don't talk about stories. We don't promote liars. And I don't bring liars on my show. I used to, and I got tired of hearing stories that I thought were totally crazy or ridiculous. And I don't want to promote things that aren't beneficial in any way. The idea of our show is to put the truth out there. Not that it's going to change your life, but it at least make you aware of what's really happening. Not that everything's beautiful, all the good aliens are going to help us, and we're going to be in roses and gold in the next couple of years. No, I don't live in fairy tale land. Tina can't either. So if you're ready for the truth, please, if you have questions about what you think you know or don't know, call in, come on the show. This is open for people that are ready to deal with the truth and want to. And if you don't want it, you don't have to be here. We're totally as real as we can get. Tina is one of the few people that I totally trust, and that's why she's on my show for a couple of years, and we deal with it. We don't agree on everything. Nobody can, but we pretty much agree on a lot of things, like aliens in general are not good people. So, and what they do is not beneficial to the human race. Never has been. So people, please ask questions. Somebody said they like your background, Tina. It looks cool.
Thank you, Richie. Yeah, he's one of our regular viewers. Got it on Amazon. I was a bit fed up with everyone looking at my pictures of me and Giorgio Tsoukalos, and there's other pictures up there. And it looks a bit of a mess, but this is my little part of the house where I work from when I'm doing my UFO stuff. I work normally during the day, but I've not been well lately. But this is where I work when I'm at home. So it looks a bit messy, so I thought I'd tidy it up with the background. But thank you for noticing, Tommy.
Well, I want to start with the simplest things. How much truth is coming out right now? And I'll admit this, there is some truth coming out. Gary Nolan was on with one of the big hosts, and he admitted that the government came to him with 100 abductee stories and people's names and all that, and he investigated it, and he came out with his theories. Check it out online. There's a lot of interesting things. Never mind, the Navy actually said they want all the stories, and they'll listen to them, but they're not going to do anything about it. But they are collecting information.
Information gathering, yeah.
They want to know how many people are really getting abducted. They have no clue. It's not like everybody that gets abducted calls the president up or the government. I was just abducted. Most people are afraid to admit it to themselves even.
And on one experience, Tommy, I saw hundreds and hundreds of people all hung up together in one go. They were awake, but they were awake. they weren't moving. Their eyes were open and they weren't moving. I saw hundreds in one, just in one. I didn't see any other humans at any other time. Just that one experience where we were on that travelator thing. So there are other people up there, and I can't be the only one to remember that. There were hundreds of people up there. So Tommy's right. Yeah, Tommy.
I'm bad with names, but a person that I met in Sedona, he runs the UFO center there and everything. And we exchanged UFO pictures when I went out there. I bought his 2 books. Very interesting because he keeps all the records of sightings and they put it up on a billboard. People can go out and check where they were and stuff like that. One of the few people that I met that's pretty active and doing things that could help people in the area. So a lot of places over Sedona they can't get to. I mean, they see the ships go down and everything, but they can't get there. I don't know. Right now, people have drones and really good drones and things like that. It's a lot easier to get closer to things that we normally cannot get to. Like here in Hawaii, the Army base will take you out if you put a drone over the base because nothing's allowed to fly over it. No helicopters, nothing. I mean, the first thing I did was try to pay a helicopter to go over it. And they said, no, we can't do that. So I said, well, how much would you want? Well, you couldn't pay us enough to do it. So, yeah, they're hiding a lot of things here. But I put a picture up last week. If you saw the picture I put up, blow it up because there's 3 triangle ships there right over the base. I didn't even shoot it. My partner did. And she's not into UFOs, but she said, oh, let me just shoot that for him. And she shot a couple pictures of these ships like right over it. So, and that was in the middle of the afternoon. So things are happening. People are getting more pictures around the world. So if you still don't believe, get my book. I'll send it to you free. It's a PDF file, How to See a UFO. If that's what you want in your life, do it. It'll take you 2 or 3 weeks, and I promise you'll see a UFO.
Tommy, just put your email up online. So if anyone comes up, they can just get onto your email. If anyone would like to send Tommy an email, get straight information to Tommy. He has his emails up on the screen, so you can converse that way. And Tommy can also send you directly the link for that. But Richie's right. Here in the UK, I'm not sure about where you are, Richie. But here in the UK, it has been said, especially on the online news more, not so much on the TV. I haven't seen anything on the TV, but on the online news, on the internet, it has been reported that UFOs have been seen in the Ukraine. But people must realise that there is war in the Ukraine and in Russia. Heavy bombardment, which is affecting the ground, which sends vibrations. They've also kicked up a load of soil from around the nuclear plants there, especially Chernobyl. Don't forget, Chernobyl is between Russia, Ukraine, and Poland. It's at the top there. But where they've been driving tanks through the contaminated ground and men, they've kind of walked. It's like walking in the snow, really, and they've traipsed it everywhere. So they could be picking up a nuclear signal from that and radiation. And of course, perhaps if they are using weaponries and bombs, they're going to detect that on different levels and vibrations as well. So it doesn't surprise me that they're seeing UFOs over the Ukraine, especially when nuclear devices or infected areas have been kicked up. I'll be surprised if there wasn't one spotted, but it's good that people are looking out for these things now. Well done, Tommy.
True. Everywhere there's a war and people are dying, I promise you there's UFOs there. They take the bodies, they take the people. I mean, even the people that aren't killed, they take them too, because you know how many people went missing, and even in Vietnam and places like that. I mean, there was a lot of witnesses that saw ships and everything as well. So if they were really good people, like all these UFO people say they are, you don't think they'd be helping us in any way? Not changing the world completely, but helping us in a little bit even? I mean, like coming down and say, stop using nuclear weapons or we'll take you out or something really important. But even giving us a hand. Now, all the things we got from the UFO world were taken. I mean, we shot a bunch of ships down. We shot a Pelagian ship down. We shot a gray ship down. We shot a reptilian ship down. And we had wars with them in space, people, whether you hear that or not. But in the interim, we got a lot of our technology from that. But from 1946 and 7 on, the government was using grays for knowledge, but they didn't know. And this is a fact. Pull up Phil Snyder's story. They didn't know the whole time grays were abducting people and eating them. So at that point, people, this is a real story. All right, and pull it up, read it. I mean, they tried covering up, and nobody talks about it anymore. Nobody wants to talk about it. They want to talk about good things. Everybody wants to hear good things. All the spiritual speakers out there. Oh, we're beautiful, super dimensional beings, and we're not there, people. I wish we were, probably more than anybody. I saw at times. I'm aware of all my past lives. Mankind has never been at peace since Atlantis was destroyed. The alien races that came down then weren't good, and they're sure no better now. And if you think they were good, you wouldn't see children being sold into slavery, sold into weird things, children, and everything that's going on in such high numbers. And I don't know about you, but I know in California, Hawaii, the crime has risen about 80%. Uh, just about every other day, somebody's getting robbed in my neighborhood. Somebody got killed last week. I mean, the crime is incredible. And who's responsible for it? Somebody is, and people don't want to realize how ingrained aliens are with this planet as far as controlling us. They have been. When Atlantis was destroyed, they needed to control the human race. We weren't just here to dig gold. I mean, they could get gold anytime they want. They had high technology and stuff. Do you think they need a little man out there with a shovel digging in the ground to find gold? People, wake up. Think something out. Whatever it is about aliens and good aliens and bad aliens, think it out. Think if they're good. Think if they're bad. Well, Jesus is so loving. What is it doing for the present? What all these things you believe? Do you have proof of what you believe in? Oh, I had a miracle in my life. One miracle? What happened when you got hit by the car and somebody killed you, or things like that? What happens with all the other ones? They're not miracles, are they? So we live in a fantasy world, people. And the only thing I could tell you, you're going to keep coming back to this world. And so are the aliens. So if you want to stay in this dimension, that's fine, but you can move forward and get out of it. I mean, there's always a higher path to take, and it's sure not believing that everything's beautiful. I mean, just talk to people that have been abducted. That's why I've been doing a show with Tina. A real person, not somebody saying somebody's story that they heard. Somebody that was in a ship, on a ship, saw these aliens next to them, having them playing with them and stuff like that. Call it what you want. I mean, it wasn't all fun and games. It was never that for Tina. So, and then what happened to her in her life and what's going on in her life, it's not a great thing. People say, I want to go on a ship. I want to get abducted. Well, guess what? Do it, and you'll never think the same again. And you're going to realize it was something you never wanted to realize.
Can I just say something? People who that is, Tommy will back me up and say this, and anybody else that has genuinely been taken up there will say to you, here we're just normal people. There's nothing special about us. Why on earth would you want to subject yourself to being abducted or taken? It is just beyond belief. And if these people that say they've been taken by good aliens, when real abductees say this happened to them, yeah, fair enough. It isn't all not like mine and Tommy's, side. We're just given two stories. We're given our own accounts, and we're only telling you about what has happened to us, not what has happened to other people. Now, between our accounts, or my accounts, or Tommy's accounts, I'm only speaking on my behalf. So on my account, does the story of where were these airy fairy, all shining, all light beings, being so kind and offering me a cup of tea and giving me all this advice and helping me out and making me feel better? Where were they? I didn't quite see them. Did I get abducted by the wrong type of alien? Did I get taken by the wrong type of nice alien? I don't understand. Like I said, it's being abducted. It's two sides of one coin. Apparently, there seems to be this all-seeing, all lights. Can someone tell me the race that's taken me then? Because and all the times I've been taken, I've never seen all these nice aliens. I've been welcoming and greeting and asked me before they abducted me, and didn't subdue me on the table and didn't cut parts out of me and didn't do things that they're not supposed to do and talk to you. They can speak to you in your mind and show you things, but they're so advanced. We're not even. I'm not even sure if they consider us intelligent enough. So what their use is, I don't know. But if they're kind enough to ask these other people, all glowing, all light, why are mine and Tommy's accounts so very real, very true, and very in this world. So there's such a vast difference between being taken by good all fairy tale. What's happened to me and Tommy then? Who are these people? Why was it so bad for us then? We're not interpreting this wrong. We tell you what happened. You can. Sorry, Tommy, go on.
I want to say this, people, because good and bad aliens and all that stuff people say. The good aliens took them. Here's the thing: everybody that gets abducted do not remember 100% of everything that happened. That's the first thing you got to realize. Well, I remember this part when they showed me all the good things. They didn't show you what they were doing or what they really wanted. So right there, something's wrong. All right. Second of all, they didn't ask you if you wanted to go anywhere. But now in the interim is when they do things to you, and this was proven a long time ago, they can implant a thought in your mind, which makes you think it's real. Take out people like Corey Good and things like that.
Is it screen memories? Someone was telling me about that. Screen memories, is that it?
Right. But see, here's the thing. They can put whatever memory they want in your brain, and you'll probably accept it. Oh, it was an alien race, and they gave me, like they went out to dinner, or they did good things. What?
Tommy, I've got a question for you to ask. Next time I'm sorry, I'll keep cutting Tommy off. He must be getting fed up with it. When you speak to because you speak to a lot of people more than me. Well, next time you speak to one of these people that's been abducted by the nice aliens, could you then ask them, please? When did they give them permission to abduct their 6-year-old child, their little girl, in the night on their own, under cover of darkness, and take her away and burn holes in her legs? What parent gave permission for them to do that? And then just let me know the answer, because I'd love to know that.
There's a couple movies out about things like that and everything, but like a lot of these people say in their last life, they gave permission to an alien race to take them in this lifetime. Now, it's like saying, I'm here at this level. I'm going to go down here. For what reason? You're supposed to be moving up and I'm becoming more spiritual. Well, you wouldn't come back to get abducted. That is the most ridiculous statement I hear. And a lot of people say it. Then are only people that think they're walk-ins. There's a lot of reasons why they could think they were walk-in, but why is it they don't have any abilities? Now, I was trying to deal with the one girl that was from Venus, one of the 7 people that supposedly came here. Alnek, or whatever, however you say it. She said she came here at 6 years old and took a body. Well, whose body did she take? What was in the body before she took it? We hear stories and they're all supposed to be good. But then again, she has 0 talent. Now, out of all the stories...
What happened to that child that was in that body then? That poor
exactly.
child.
Nobody talks about that. But here's what I want to say. The only person and story that I heard, I know it was true, but to what level, I don't know. I was told that this guy was brought into the White House and whatever, something Thor, whatever his name was.
Valiant Thor.
And he had powers. So, yeah, the government wants anybody that has psychic powers, superpowers. And if you have one that good, they're going to use you. I promise you that. They're not going to let you walk the streets. I mean, I knew, what's his face? Uri Geller. He said he worked for the CIA. He said he worked for the FBI. And one of his books is all about it. But look where he is. He drives around in a car with thousands of spoons glued to his car. I mean, does that sound like a normal person? What happens with power is the same with money, and they go together. You lose your main foundation of who you are. Becomes ego. So when aliens play with people, and I would say also, but I don't want to go into a religious, spiritual thing, but when you say Satan or something else, some negative entity or creature, whatever, is dealing with you, it's very easy for them to control what you do. Now, look at all these people that were abducted. Are they doing anything beneficial? Changing the world, making it better? Are they helping anything that's happening? Please, people, look at the facts always, not what everybody says. I mean, people don't watch the news. Well, I don't want to know. You don't want to know anything. You have to have somewhere to start with. When the government says, well, this plane just crashed into the place, check it out. Make sure that it was a real plane. Go ahead, Tina.
I've just been interviewed by a newspaper, actually, the Hampshire Chronicle, and they're going to be putting out a bit about my story and a bit about about my account, and they're going to be putting out about my conference next year. But one of the things the last one of the things I put in there is this happened to me. and no one's done anything about it. The government, no charities, the UN, no local police, no one has helped abductees or me. Okay, so but if I swap my nightdress and put a uniform on, just a different piece of clothing, and said this happened to me, you'd be crying war crimes for humanity. Like they did the same thing to other people that committed war crimes. They were held accountable. They were sought out. It was investigated. They gave it evidence. They took statements. They looked at what the person said, the time period, what happened. The government knows what's happened. People are coming forward now and nothing is still being done. They're just, if they are gathering evidence, I think they should hurry it up a bit more and do something about it. But that's just my personal view. But if I just took that little bit of my passageway and said, this happened, just take my nightdress up. As a little kid, don't have me in a nightdress, just put me in a uniform. And I just turn around and say, I'm a uniformed soldier. These people have come into my home, come into our world, invaded our world, come into our atmosphere, invaded our airspace, invaded our local airspace, broken all rules, came into my house, invaded my house, took me against my will. They've abducted me, pulled me away from my family and my house, incapacitated me and tortured me. I was lucky to get away with my life, and I want you to do something about it. You would have the UN there. You would have the police there, you'd have the army there, you would have the Red Cross there. They'd be doing something about it. They'd be looking for these people being held accountable. It would be on the TV. Something needs to be done. We need to find these people. Where is the justice? There is, there is no accountability here. There is no justice for abductees. The abductees have no recourse. We are victims. People seem to forget that in all this. They're not people just make up stories. We are victims in this. But Tommy.
All right. Now here's the thing. I met Tom Dangle maybe 24 years ago. I was in Sedona. We had lunch and everything. I showed him my pictures. He showed me his. He put out 2 books, and I bought them when I was there with him, and I read them going back on the plane. The one story is incredible. Now, here's the thing. It's his best friend. It's not like he wrote somebody's story. Well, his best friend, they were on top of a mountain, and they had horses and everything. So the one son was going down a mountain on a horse. He got abducted. And he was missing for, I don't know how many days, 2 days, 3 days, whatever it was. He called from another town. When they found him, he was in different clothes. Had no idea how he got there, no idea why he had different clothes on or anything like that. But they saw the ship and everything. So there's stories out there that have a lot more interesting facts that are beneficial. Like, do they know what clothes you wear when you come up? Do they keep track of everybody's clothes? Like when Tina says there's 100 people on a ship, and if they're all stripped naked on this board, how do they know which clothes they're going to be putting on people as well? Oh,
I've been naked. These people in this this traveler thing, they were all fully clothed. They were all clothed. They were all adults, but they were all clothed, but they were awake but asleep. But when I was taken, they was doing things to me, I didn't have any clothes on. They were just doing stuff to me. Tommy, sorry.
Right. So, see, here's the thing. Like I said, when I was with him, and that's 24 years ago, roughly, I'm not even sure. But I was in it all my life. I mean, I dealt with people that were involved with it. But guess what? There's a lot of bad things that happened to him. The one that, I don't know if it was Merging Dimensions. He put out 2 books I read. I forgot which one was which. But check them out. But the book also said they blew up the mountain. And, they tried taking them out, and the black cars followed them everywhere they went. Government, when they hear a real story, they're on top of it. When they don't believe the story is real, they're not on top of it. And a lot of times, the people that have the real importance. I mean, like I said, I told you this a while ago. I have a friend that deals with 125 doctors and lawyers, and they have a meeting twice a year. And they all get together and talk what they do, what experiences did they had, how did they deal with it. And everyone has a different story, and not one of them knows how to deal with it. But they sure won't come out to the public because they don't want to lose their business. Well, I'm the top lawyer, but I was on a ship yesterday. Really? Credibility is what people in business need. They don't want to get taken down. So top people that get abducted. Now, John Lennon was abducted, people, really. And he didn't come out public. He said he saw a ship and he hated aliens, but he never went into the details about it, ever, publicly. I tried getting in touch with Ono many times, never got anything back from her. I met her once, but she was surrounded by like 13, 14 guards, so I couldn't even get near her. I also met Blondie the same day, but again, I was in the UFO world, but I was still in the rock and roll world as well. All right, so yeah, I met big name singers and stuff, but again, I was supposed to meet John Lennon. Now, John Lennon was a friend of my brother's drummer, and my brother's drummer played with John Lennon a couple times. But when John Lennon died, he was given John Lennon's ranch out on I think it was New York State. But people, the stories are there, but it's hard to get to them because the people involved don't want to put their life on the line. I told you the name, John Ford. People, if you're in the UFO world, why don't you try to get him out of jail? Prove that he's not crazy. The government comes in once a year and says he's crazy. We got to reevaluate him. He was sane in 1996 when he filmed the UFO crash on Long Island. So people, if you care, I mean, people say they care about the environment. They care about this. What do you do to really prove that you care about it? Nothing. Medicine woman I dealt with, and this is an important statement that you should listen to. In your life, you should do two things. Two, only two. Whatever it is you can do in your own town, one, and then two, get involved with something worldwide and get involved with that too. So obviously you can do a lot more in your town than you can do with the world, but be active. Do something. Sitting there praying, wishful thinking, and dreaming is not going to change the world. People sitting back and watching the wars go down. At least the people in Russia are fighting back. People are fighting for people. Most people in general don't want to kill each other. So, yeah, when you're forced to kill, when they take kids like the United States, 17 years old, put them out on the battlefield to kill people, what do you think that does to their mind? People don't realize we're an evil country. And I'm sorry to say, the white race that came into the United States and the Spanish were evil. They slaughtered 50 million Native people. And the Native people said they were working with the star beings. Did the star beings ever help them? No. You know, when you hear stories about help, what help do you really get? I did a UFO convention. I was one of the speakers. And one speaker was talking about he worked with the, not the tall whites, the Nordics. And he goes, they help him. And he told me once, well, he was in a car crash. And he was taken out of the car and he watched the crash and everything. I said, well, what else did they do? He couldn't name one other thing. I said, they're always there helping you. What are they doing? Prove it. Say something. And he couldn't even answer that. You know, when you can't answer, I could answer any question you ask me about my life. I don't change my stories. I don't reinvent them. They're all solid facts that I went through. And that's the way it should be with a person that gets abducted. Tina's not trying to create. Now, even Travis Walton, he wants to do the movie over. Mm-hmm. He goes, well, there's too many facts that we're not. See, in time, when you go over a story in your mind, you rearrange things. And that's what the mind does. The soul doesn't do it, but the mind does. So, oh, maybe this happened. And he doesn't know everything that happened. I talked to him a few times. Well, no, you don't become spiritual because you get abducted either.
I think with Travis, when I spoke to him, lovely man, I completely believe his story and where he's coming from. I think what it is when they filmed it, they put extra, you know, when they put that white stuff over his face and they're doing stuff and that in the film. I don't think that happened. They put that in for dramatic effects. And I think Travis wanted to keep true to the story. Obviously, it is a film and they've got to put film things in for entertainment value. But Travis wanted the real closest to the truth as possible done. So he's redoing his film. So fair play to Travis.
Well, you see, the thing is that he said the numbers were wrong and the people that were involved and things like that. Well, no, that's fine. But here's the thing. Like I said, people don't remember everything that happened on that ship, and he doesn't either. I was talking to him way back then, and he had no clue. He didn't know what they wanted him for, what they really did to him. And very few people get abducted. Tina's been abducted a lot. She doesn't remember half of it. That's why she wants to go to hypnosis. But again, people, the truth is there, but most people don't want to face it. How many people walk away from lost time? Well, I lost 3 hours. I must have been sleeping. No, it's not that simple, people. I was doing that for a couple of years. I didn't want to stay in that world because when you go into missing time. 90% of the time, they have been abducted. All right. And I'm talking about aliens, not demons or anything else. And that's another place that nobody wants to go. But it's all real, people. All I can say, all my life, I was involved with all of it. And it's all real. Demons are here now. Watch any of the ghost shows on TV. They're filming the weirdest creatures ever. I mean, images, and you see these people go flying across the room, and this a demon pushed them and stuff. It's mind-boggling. Sure, some of it has to be fake, but some of it has to be real. Like I said, in any story, you're bound to get a little bit of truth in it, no matter what they say, no matter how bad they make it or how outrageous, but there's still some truth there. And that's what you got to find with any story you hear. I could give my story, Tina gives her story. You might not accept much of it, but if you just realize it really happened to her, it really happened to me, it might make you realize it could happen to you. All right. And that's what I want. The good aliens aren't going to save mankind and not going to do anything beneficial. Tesla is not, I mean, he wasn't a bad person, but he brought the most deadliest weapons to the planet, which are being used for bad reasons. Now, people, do you want the truth? Please ask questions. Email me. Email Tina. She can answer what she knows. She's been next to him. I've been next to anyone. Ask people that have some kind of experience directly, not that writes other people's stories and things like that. Bud Hopkins wrote maybe 25 books on abduction, and he never was abducted, never saw an alien. So how much does he really know? All right. He knows what people tell him. And like people, the old story is if you put a person in front of a video for an hour, they'll remember 10 minutes of it, if that. So what about all the rest of the time that went by? What did they remember? Nothing. So, and it's the same with abduction. But then you got these beings that are actually programming you and putting thoughts in your brain and all that. So yeah, they go into your brain because they're not talking physically to you. So they're talking to your consciousness and things like that. So it's a lot different than the way the average person could perceive that. Go ahead, Tina.
John, just look at the thing John's put in there. Tina make a movie. If I had, I wouldn't have the money to make one, but I'd gladly show people what it's like to be taken. I think when people say they want to be abducted, they don't realise what they are saying. But yeah, I'd make a movie with anyone who's willing to make a movie. You want a movie, but you gotta tell the truth. So it's none of this hairy, very light stuff. It is stuff of nightmares. But you learn a lot. That's one thing I must say. Stuff they show you is very hard to interpret, or very hard to. They said this and meant this. So I can only give you my interpretation or tell you what because I got to admit I didn't understand the stuff they showed me. It was so quick. A couple of things stuck in my head, But when you see something up close and you're like, it's looking at you, it's there, and it's looking at you, they're the kind of things that you don't forget. So, but the stuff they show you, you forget because I didn't have the capability to understand a lot of the stuff. But it's on the link side of it, on the reverse side of it, there is stuff that I don't know how I knew, that they were freaked out that I knew about, and other things like that. So human alien cross boundaries, if you like. I think they're things that I think human beings are still a wonder to them. But yeah, I'd love to make a movie. So Steven Spielberg, give us a call.
Well, here's what I want to say. A friend of mine who just was out of jail for a while now. He's dying. He's very sick, and he's fighting really hard to stay here. But he was a top psychic for many years. He was one of the big lecturers around the planet, all that, the whole thing. Coast to Coast had him on every other month and things like that. But when they put him in jail, they were torturing him every which way they could. I'm not going to go into all the details about that. But he was the first person to take people up to Area 51 and watch the motherships come in. All right. So when people say blah, 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 they were this and that. No, he was. When he got snagged there, that's when they put all that land around there and made sure nobody else could ever go in there again. But the idea is a mothership landed at that base every second Thursday.
So I've got a question that's just kind of come to light, Tommy. Perhaps you, John, or anybody, Richie, I'm going to chuck it out there. What do you think aliens are doing, either during the day or during the times they're not taking human beings? They're going back to somewhere or a mothership that's reporting to somewhere bigger or another planet or a different dimension. or a different power. What they don't just come out at night, take humans, and no one sees them, they disappear, and that's it. They're doing something during the day, or when they're not here. Like if we have scientists here, they go home, they go into their friends and family, or they go home and write reports. They have, I know they don't work like we do, and what I've learned is they are scientific or biologically. That's how they look at human beings, a bit like lab rats. But where do they go? What do they do? This is the questions we need to be asking, and we're not.
No. I wanted to answer two things first, Tina. Sean always wanted to do a movie. They claimed he was stealing millions of dollars. He never had millions of dollars to do the movie that he wanted to do. All right. So when you say you want to do a movie, how hard it is to get out. You can't get your book out, and you want to put a movie out. I mean, it's going to be hard. I mean, we're not there yet, but like I said, government's on top of things, especially when it comes to what's really going out there. All right. They don't mind some things, but I was going to say, when, like I said, when I meet people and I get close as I can to them and see how real they are, you'll find out there's a lot more stories going on in their consciousness that they won't talk about. They're still afraid to deal with it. And the subconscious and the soul have separate ways to relate to things, and the mind usually blocks out really bad things. I learned that through hypnosis. Sure, with hypnosis, you could break those boundaries down pretty easily, but you invite all this other negative energy around it. And like I said, I truly feel aliens watch Tina all the time. That's why they're over her house all the time. They're around her all the time. She's important to them for some reason, not because she's famous and has a lot of money, but there is
No,
a
I'm not.
reason.
I'm not, and I don't.
You'll be famous, Tina. Don't worry. Another year, I promise you'll probably be way up there because you'll be the number one speaker about abduction. All right. I feel that's going to happen. And I'm glad for you because basically people need the truth. Oh, I was looking to good aliens and they took us out and we show beautiful planets and blah, 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 blah. And I said, did they give you anything? Did they help you with something, show you something beneficial to the world? No, that never happens. Why? Because they're not there for that reason. Now, you said, what are they here for? Now, what do they do during the day? What I wanted to say about that, I know for a fact, and I'm sure you know this too, a ship can dematerialize within a split second. Now, that being true, they know when you're looking at them. Their energy could come down and sense it. So, what I'm going to say, any ship you see, they are allowing you to see it. When a ship comes across a town real slow, a mother ship, they're letting you see it because they could block it out and it would be just a cloudy, dark night. So, again, what they allow. Hold on, let me get rid of that noise. So, again, they allow who they want to see them when they want them to see them. I was out 4 days ago now, saw almost 60 ships within 45 minutes, 3 different kinds of ships. They all allowed it, but I didn't get to film much of any of it. I mean, the big mothership that popped out, I didn't even have the camera in my hand. But the second I saw it, it just went boom, and it was gone again. But I mean, I talked to 4 people 2 months ago. They all watched this giant mothership come over this part of Hawaii, block out like half of the city as it went over us. So it's all real. And it's not the U.S. government's plane. It's not Russia's plane. I mean, you can believe what you want.
They're not planes. You can clearly see where I live. I don't live far from an airport, so there's a military base. So for 50 years, I think any human being that lives locally has gathered enough aeroplane intel to know the difference, especially when you look in the sky. They have flashing lights on, they have sound on airplanes. These things don't have sound. They don't move like an airplane. An airplane will move along and they flash and go. These things just move about like this, or they can jump up and down or zigzag like this. Planes don't do that. And it's sad to say that these things are inside of our atmosphere, troposphere. I'm not quite sure how you want to put it. They're inside our atmosphere, so they are not satellites. Satellites do not come into our atmosphere. They're outside of our world. But I've got to agree with Ricky there. I do miss him. He was very, very good. I think George Nooy's taken over from him. And Tom doesn't exist to him. When they completely, it's going to sound crazy, guys. But apparently, I'm not the only. I found out recently the few things I've said have come up. Other abductees have come forward and said the same thing. when they put you in a bubble. So when they put you in this bubble, it's like they put you in this link, and you can move up and down. So whether it's a sliding rule in a times, whether you could go forward in time or in a parallel time or what, but they choose to put you in a bubble and take you there. So yeah, to a point, John is actually right. Star Trek law, non-interference. Well, if that was the case, they wouldn't be deactivating missiles, would they? Because that's interfering, isn't it?
No,
Coming into your atmosphere, flashing your lights, exercising, woohoo, we're here. So that is
they're interfering by taking one person. That's interference. So they're not living by the spiritual laws of the physical world, which means non-interference. But I want to go into one thing. I had a friend, I'm not going to say his name, but he worked for NASA. All right. He designed parts of the ships that they couldn't make. And that's what his job was. And we were going to create a private retreat somewhere where we could live in peace and harmony away from the government and people. His whole family disappeared within 3 days after that. All right. But here's the thing, people. He had strict orders not to look at anything pertaining to UFOs. And I brought him over my house to look at UFOs. And then 2 days later, he was missing. And his whole family went missing. The kids in school went missing. But he told me technology they had. This is the United States. They have the technology, and he told me how it works. When a plane's flying over a city, they use a technology. It's just like in magic, making something disappear with mirrors. And it's a reflection they put under the plane that brings the image of the clouds and everything around it. So it's flying right over you, and you can't see it.
Smart glass.
But what I'm saying, at a certain height, there's no sound. So you can't see them or hear them. So that technology was here 23 years ago that I know of. All right. So when we say a government plane, I know when I was on Long Island where this John Ford was taken by the government and everything, I saw a helicopter right above my head. I heard it until it disappeared. It was coming across the land, and as it got right above me, it just disappeared, and I didn't hear a sound. So our technology is a lot more advanced if it's a government ship. I mean, the local government, the local police, and the helicopters are a lot different than the ones the secret government uses. So technology is way beyond you could possibly imagine. I just wrote this a little while ago. When we see something, we're seeing something anywhere from 25 to 50 years old. The Delphi and the Aurora ships were created at least 25 years ago. And they're not even talking about them now. So technology, I said, if you talk about the nuclear bomb was created in 1945, you think if the United States has to use that technology? Are you really that lame in thinking? Every 25 years, the United States takes a giant leap in technology. We came up with electric energy weapons. We came up with all kinds of stuff already. So to think that we would have to use a nuclear bomb on somebody? I mean, people are lame. I mean, little countries that are pretty backwards, sure, they're still using a nuclear bomb because that's all they have. And they can't even get it to go as far as they want. But
I mean, at the time of nuclear bombs, when Oppenheimer, was it Oppenheimer that designed that? Even people have been questioning whether he designed it, found it, or got the technology from somewhere else because they didn't think he had the knowledge and capability of putting that together, or the conceptual idea. So lots of things.
Who invented the nuclear bomb?
But yeah, so as to it's all in the matrix, we're all in the matrix. We possibly could be. I have no idea, but it is a bit freaky. Tommy, is that time of the show? It's nearly quarter to you.
Hold on, let me just get rid of this. All right, here it is. I'm going to put it in the link. Okay, that's who invented the nuclear bomb.
Was it Oppenheimer?
Yep. So, people, you know, technology changes every 10 years. So when we think we're going to use weapons from that year, that time frame, wake up. And we could just take out the whole country or the whole planet by just knocking all the satellites out within a day. So, you know, that would put the world in the biggest chaos it could ever imagine. Every store, every doctor, every lawsuit, every medical, every police record would be gone. So just think what would happen. So there's a lot more ways than just killing people, blowing them up. I mean, that's so lame. We made chemical warfare illegal in war zones, but they use it in Iraq. If you ever saw the videos they put up for a short time, they're using laser beams on people. They blast the car in half, and they hit a person. They blast the person in half as well. And that was released, I guess, by accident. It wasn't up too long. But the technologies, they think we have to rely on what Russia's doing, what they say they're going to do, what China's going to do. China still believes they need people to take over a country. People just walk. My brother was a chemist in 1969, and they had technology that could take out a whole city and lay them unconscious. I mean, we're beyond that, but you don't see it. They don't talk about it. Why? Because you don't give the other army, what we use. You don't give them what's happening. So when they say disclosure, the government cannot say what they learned from aliens. They never will, because that's a war information, private, secure, should be. So again, the government's never going to come out and say, "Oh, disclosure. We work with aliens and we let them abduct people." They didn't let anything go down. They didn't know how to stop it. When the fleets of ships went over the White House, they couldn't do a thing about it. So people, the truth's out there, and it's not what we believe it to be, what other people are telling you it is. It's not good, not beneficial for the human race. And basically what's happening to the planet now is really bad. And it's going to get worse.
Apparently yesterday, Tommy's right, yesterday, I think, check out, I'm not sure if it's CNN or Fox News or British channel, that said that the American government bought huge chunks, and I'm talking over 60%, 70% of the world's iodine medication, or medication for nuclear fallout. That happened this week. So there is lots going on. But while we're on that subject, I just got my Geiger counter out. This is the same one Tommy's asked me to get a few years ago now. This is the second one. My first one fell and broke. So it's electrical magnetic radiation tester. I got this one. This is my second one. My first one fell in some tea, I think. So that's what it looks like. That's the back. I got it on Amazon. I'm just going to push that button there to turn it on. Now, I have a smart screen computer, so it doesn't give off electrical magnetic. Tommy just popped something up there. So this gives off volts per meter and micro testers. That's what the little signs for there. So it's electrical magnetic tester. So you get normal background testing for radiation or electrical magnetic energy or forces. So when I hold it near my screen, normally TVs and screens give them off, but mine's smart, so it's like a safe version. Tommy's isn't, so his will go off. And but for some reasons, human beings can give off electrical magnetic volts per meter. I'm not sure why or how, but apparently they do. But some micro testers really I'm interested in as well. So 90% of the time, this thing goes off. So every time I hold it closer to me, you're going to see it go off. So we'll start this side. So just as I go away, the further away I'll get from it, the lower the number gets down. So hold on, I'm going to start coming back. So there's Tommy's. This is going off. So turn yours onto the camera a bit more, Tommy.
No, it changes if I turn the face in the camera completely. It's super high when I point it to me. When I point it to the screen, it goes down to the very low. It's at about 140 on the top and 0 on the bottom.
It says 196, and if you look at the bottom, I'll do it again. It says harmful. So this thing is I'm giving off. So Tommy's electrical magnetic field volts per meter is going off. Sorry, it's annoying me now. 89, but his micro testers isn't. So while I'm doing this, my volts per meter is 0, but my micro Teslas are harmful.
Mine's harmful too. But here's the thing, Tina. I got a smart TV, and guess what? I still get radiation from it. I just bought a brand new one, and it's not protected. So you're lucky that yours doesn't emit anything. I bought 2 TVs in the past 6 months. Both of them have a field around it. So whether they tell you it's free of energy, bad energy, guess what? Mine says harmful. So
just
it's
going to
not.
answer John's question there. Yeah, John. My partner, he's a bit better. He's had to have a few more tests. He's had physio this week, bless him. So hopefully everything's okay. And at the moment, I'm actually not well. I'm waiting for a cardiology appointment. May not necessarily, but may have to have a pacemaker fitted. But we'll see how that works out. But as we go on till the end of the show, again, guys, if you have a question from a previous show, if you have some information to tell us, updates, me and Tommy do look at the internet when we get time, but we don't see all the news and we miss so much. You guys are our eyes and ears out there. Please let us know how you're doing, what you're seeing, what you want to know, what is going on in your part of the world. We don't know. The only way we learn or can help people is by exchange of information. So please come on the show. Please message us, email, Facebook us, Messenger. Come on to the show and let us know. Just send us a little message. Tommy put his email address up again. And so you know, just please message us, email us, and give us little updates. Again, if we can help you, we will. If you've got an answer from a previous show, please let us know. But I have some information just before we go in a minute. We've only got about 9 minutes left. Next year on the in Southampton in England on April the 22nd and 23rd in Hampshire in a place called Bishopswortham will be the Southern England's first Southern Expo conference. You can meet Gary Heseltine. He's been a guest on Ancient Aliens a few times. He will be there. Come and have your picture taken with him. He'll be doing 2 talks, I believe. He's also the ISA vice president. You'll see him there. Andy Thomas, he is an expert in and he has things printed all the time, and he can tell you all about Hampshire's and around the world's crop circles. He'll be there. Come and talk to him, speak to Andy, meet Andy. Ben Emlyn Jones, he's an up-and-coming journalist. You'll see him there. He's wrote about Roswell. He's wrote a forward, I think, or a next book to that as well. So please come and you can question him. He'll be in there with your conspiracy theorist. Very good, very intelligent man. You'll see David Hodgson there. He's the chairman of BUFO, Birmingham UFO Group, and he's also a world investigator, I believe, into abductions and UFO sightings. He does local anything. He's there and investigate. You'll see me there, Tina Barrett. I'll also be giving my account on abduction and how I feel. You'll see that there. You'll also see Lorraine Wilkins there. This will be her first year speaking. She's an advocate for Marshall Van Summers. The gentleman sold millions of copies in the US. She'll be there. She'll be giving away 3 books of his, spreading the word. Maria Wheatley actually will be hosting for us. So lovely lady. She's up and coming as well. Very good. I met the lady in Blackpool. She will be coming. Very interesting lady. Lots to say. That's top billing for you all there. You're going to have an exciting 2 days. Other things come along. I see it's £30 a ticket. If you go on to Encounters 2023 on Facebook, there's a little Encounters page for this event, or you can go on TA Bird at Wix. Just click on the link on Facebook and you can go to TA Bird's website on Wix and just click on RSVP and then scroll down and buy a ticket either for Saturday or Sunday or both days. There are limited tickets left, guys, for both days, so please don't miss that. And with that, I'll probably see you next week, but I shall have exciting news next week. This weekend, I'm hoping, and I'm going to the end of the country again, another long trip, going to meet Whitley Strieber from, am I saying it right, Schreiber? Whitley Strieber from the film The Communion, the actual gentleman that wrote the books, who this happened to. I was lucky enough to meet with Travis Walton and speak to him twice, so I'm hoping to meet Whitley this Sunday. I have emailed him once or twice, and I've seen some of his stuff. So I messaged him, so I would be speaking with him, have a couple of photographs, hoping with him, touch wood, and get to speak to him. A few questions I want to ask him, and I'm going to take some of my drawings if I can with me and speak to Whitley about that. So hopefully lots to talk about next week. As for this week, guys, just keep safe. Tommy will come back, and I thank you here from Southampton here in the UK. Tommy will come on and say his goodbyes. He normally does a little bit extra after the show after I've gone. But keep coming on, guys. Keep persevering. Again, keep looking up. I've been Tina Bird here on Encounters in Southampton. Trying to catch up. Yes, watch the rest of the shows. Are on YouTube there. So have your questions ready, and I shall see you next week. Tommy, anything before I go?
No, it's always a pleasure, Tina. Anything cool, text me, call me, whatever. So much stuff going on. It's hard to keep up with everything, but hope you have a safe week, and we'll see you again next week.
Yes, I'll have a safe week. I'm even getting driven up there and back as I'm unable to drive at the moment. So, yeah. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Greetings. It's Tommy Hostblood here. That was Tina Bird, a great person. Sorry she went through what she had to with these people, aliens, whatever you want to call them. But the truth's there, people, and that's all we try to do is bring this out, not promote the good aliens and everything else, because there's no such thing. That's like saying, well, Jesus walks among us, Moses walks among us, Buddha walks among us, and all those things. But do you see it helping the world in any way right now? No. All the deities, are they here helping us right now? No. Something's going down, people. And I call it UN Agenda 21-30. And it's real. And we're in phase 4. It means total elimination of separate governments, separate powers. It means one world power and one amount of people. So population depletion is one of the biggest part of UN Agenda. But then again, it's complete control. And then it's the implantation of artificial intelligence, which is not good. I mean, Musk goes back and forth with that. Gates has his thing about it. It's not beneficial in any way. You may believe it is. You know, people don't like to do anything. One of my idols who's gone, Jacques Cousteau, one of his last movies, he did about the pollution around the world. He did every country and showed how bad it was, how many miles from the shoreline out. The United States was only 2 miles, where places like Puerto Rico were 25 miles out of pollution. So, and that was how long ago? And we're not doing much to clean it up. People, I mean, that's only one little thing. People talk about the changes of the planet, the weather control and all that. Well, it's not just the United States. It's not just Russia. Aliens are playing the game too. All right. And now this is my viewpoint, not the truth or anything. It's only what I feel and see happening. Alien races need the planet radioactive. Why? Because they can't live here if it's not. All right. So why are the United States building all these underground cities for the rich people? Because they can't stay, they won't be able to live above ground. It's not like, is it going to happen? It is happening. Radiation's expanding and growing with all the stupid things they put out on the poles and all that other stuff. The radiation's incredible right now being spread among us. Never mind, some stupid country launches a bomb. That chemical air goes into the space and then the sky and it comes around, spreads around. I mean, when the nuclear reactor blows up, goes down or something like that, that's trouble. Excuse me, you don't think the government can do whatever any government can do whatever they want about things like that? Our nuclear power plant's is plain as day. They could take it out. Same as we can take theirs out. People, I'm as real as I can get. All right. Jeffrey Seelman can deal with aliens, believe it or not, and he does work with them. But see, he's a good friend of mine, but he does say he deals with good aliens. Okay, there's bad aliens, and they have a lot more power than good aliens. And the problem with reality in this realm, bad has more power than good. And just look around. You can prove it to yourself any given day. When you leave this realm into the higher realms, the negative side, bad side's taken away. But you don't get there until you purify your mind, soul, and then you become aware of soul, what it is, and everything else. So yeah, there's a lot of things that soul has to learn without dealing with the mind, because the mind's going to make sure that it stays here. And aliens, demons, and Satan, and things like that, all have their power to try to keep us here. Not just in the physical body, but keep us here anyway, to come back, reincarnate back here, and all those kind of things. But maybe you're not ready for that. That's a different thing. I do my talks on that as well, greatly. More about reincarnation, death, and things that are much more important, because you're going to die. No matter what you eat, no matter what pill you take, you're going to die. And right now, you're not going to live longer than 125 years. So people, think about reality, what you feel and want, what you expect. What can you leave to this planet? Like some paths say, walk and don't leave any footprints. No, you're going to should leave your footprints, because that's the only thing that can help other people in the future. All these pyramids were left, but do they help us? All you hear about pyramids and this and cities, they're all gone. No people living in them, are they? I'm not talking about Mars. I'm not talking about the other side of the moon. I'm talking about planet Earth. So, people, the truth's there. Yeah, well, I TJ a lot more than I am, because we're supposed to be doing. She wants me to do a workshop and everything, which I'm going to do, which I tried to do, but I had too many things happen this year. All right, and it's changing. It's not that it's getting much better. Crime is escalating, and all those other things. Getting old is another problem. I mean, all these little things that become big things. People, I do this show. I'm as real as it gets. I'm open for debate with anybody on this planet. I debate all the UFO people together, because all together they are useless. Oh, well, we could hear about this and that, but so what? Somebody's been abducted. Do they tell a good story? Can they? Tina can. Now, the other thing is, Tina's radioactive. That's 100% positive reasoning that she could, just on her side, proving that she was abducted. Oh, I've been abducted. I went around the universe and all that, and I came back without any radiation. You can check where a ship lands, it's radioactive. And that's what UFO people do that have all the equipment they're supposed to. So people like this guy, John Ford, who's in the nut house on Long Island, he shot a video of a ship crashed on the ground. And the government closed that area for 3 weeks. Black trailers went in and out the whole time. Police and fire department were stationed around it. And they set it on fire. They had to try to burn as much as they could as far as evidence. But it didn't work, because I went there. I saw the exact landing where the ship came in, because it notched out all the trees for almost at least a quarter of a mile. I didn't want to walk further than that. But again, people, the truth's there. You want to listen to these storytellers saying how good everything is? Now, people, look, I'm open about what I do, what I say. I would debate Stephen Greer in a given second, anywhere, anytime, if he could grow a pair of balls, which he won't ever. Because somewhere, I'll say this straight out, he's working for somebody. I wouldn't even say the government, because he claims the government offered him $2 billion, which is another story. You'd think, now, he's become one of the top speakers because he's the main speaker for disclosure. Disclosure will only happen when alien races decide that it's going to happen, not because he decides to. There's another person, I actually put the show on his site to see if he watches it. He's building a whole multimillionaire, building a complex for aliens to land to work with our government. Why does he assume an alien race needs to work with our government? They're pathetic. We don't have world peace. We're not at anywhere point where people would want to work with us. We're still mass killers. Do people understand where we are, what we're doing here? Heaven above and below. No, this isn't heaven below. This is hell below. All right, people. I don't get into anything spiritual, because Tina, you know where she is. She's been abducted. Nobody, no thing has ever helped her. And she's pretty sickly, people. I just watch her and put my faith that if the aliens are watching her, they keep her alive for a long time, because I think they need her. So that's a separate issue. But if you find out her real story, listen to it. Her book should be out, should have been out, and she has to fight with printers and companies to try to get it out, and they've been stopping her. So again, people, I'm not dealing with all the UFO people, because they're afraid of me. They're afraid to put their truth out there. I stand by my truth. My life is on the line for my truth. I'm only responsible to God. And there is a God. Whether you want to believe that or not, that's your choice. But if there's no God, there's no reason for anything, is my viewpoint. The universal consciousness is pathetic. This is the universal consciousness? What happened to children, women, villages, people? That's a consciousness? It's a sick, perverted consciousness. And be one with that. Oh, add the universe into it. Stars and planets. What are you going to get from that? Lightning bolts, meteorites, shooting stars. What are you going to get from the universe? Oh, the total awareness. Of what? energy, the energy that exists here doesn't exist in the higher realms. This is the lowest vibration, coarse, and the sound is really harsh. And the further you get into that, the higher and beautiful the sound becomes incredibly 1,000 times louder. But you don't have eardrums that can shatter and crack. Your eyesight, you can't be blind because you don't have a physical body. But that's why it can't come here either, people. Aliens aren't super spiritual. They have nothing to offer us about a higher space, being, or God. And then all through history, they played God to the Egyptians. Their stories were pathetic and perverted and twisted. They don't know that they didn't know the truth about reincarnation, even though they thought they were being taught about it. Really, what they did to the bodies and all that. It's pathetic, people. And you want to believe those stories, but you don't want to listen to the truth. People, anybody you know, send my link to them if you can. Also, if you do not get my links, email me. My email's there. Or friend me on YouTube. Because then you will get anything that I do. It'll go up on there and you'll have it. And you'll be able to get on the show or come on and watch it, whatever. Well, Kerry Cassidy, I've been dealing with her for many, many, many years. My friend Sean is good friends with her. So yeah, we got into debates and pretty much arguments here and there. She believes a lot of her disclosure people. I don't. I said, a lot of them have to be, 60, 70 years old to come out with the truth. And they experienced it when they were 30. If you could have helped in the 30s, why are you helping now? Nobody wants to believe a story 30 years old. Roswell's an ancient story. What do you want to hear about it for now? And it wasn't important. Phil Schneider's story is important. Bill Schneider, pull him up, read his story over, read it twice, see what really went down, what's happening in the real world, not Candyland. So Kerry Cassidy brings everybody on. I was on a show at least 3 or 4 times. We actually debated Atlantis and stuff. She said she was there too. So people, I'm a realist. I believe what I experience and what I know. So outside of that, people, all I can say is don't stop. Keep going forward. Keep looking for more of the truth than less. So till next time, Tommy Hawksblood here, calling from the big island of Hawaii. Enjoy your day, night, wherever you are, whatever it is. Again, friend me on YouTube. Send this link to people you know. Until next time, I will be doing a show on spiritualism sometime this week as well.